Pat Ryan for being the human piñata. That is here constantly, always receiving our phone calls, always reaching out to us, taking everybody's frustration, and we want to thank him, and we want you to know what a great guy he is.
In the back is individual build-it-back assistance that if you have one-to-one questions, you want to see where your stuff stands, you may go back there. We're allowing it during the meeting, just don't be loud.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to come here tonight. I'm Amy Peterson, and I have been working with the city at the Housing and Recovery Office for about 6 weeks now. And I've spent a lot of time on Staten Island, and I'm excited to spend more time here. Just to give you a sense of my background and why I'm in this position, I've been in government for a long time, about 13 years, and I was involved after September 11th in both the kind of immediate aftermath, assisting at the Disaster Assistance Services Center, and then worked at the Lower Manhattan Development Corporation. So I have experience with HUD grant programs, gave out the grants to the Lower Manhattan residents immediately after that. For the last 7 years, I've been working with an organization called Non-Traditional Employment for Women. We've been training women to get them into the construction unions. I have a long history working with the construction and building industry in New York City, and I'm looking forward to working with them to rebuild and repair your homes. And I know it's been, I've heard, I have certainly not lived what you've lived through for the last 18 months, but I know that you have not gotten the help you need. It's been 18 months, and we are taking a lot of steps to turn things around and move things forward, and to get the help to the homeowners that need it desperately. And so I'm going to give you a brief update on the program, tell you a little bit about the mayor's announcement a few weeks ago on Staten Island about some changes we've made to the program, and then just really open it up for questions. And there are people in the back that can help you with your specific issues, and I'll be available after the meeting if you have specific questions for me. Just to give you a sense, so the numbers are very small to start, obviously, but prior to this year, we hadn't started any projects in design. There was no reimbursement process. There's been over 20 projects that have started construction, and over 100 reimbursement checks have gone out. Over 300 projects are in design. So we're really starting. We've got to start somewhere, and so we've started on the pipeline. The mayor's committed to having 500 checks out this summer and 500 projects in construction, and I'd really like to see that be a higher number than that too. Just to give you a sense of how many people in Midland Beach have applied and how many people are at, the stage. It's interesting because I did this in Sheepshead Bay last night, and it was just about the same kind of 10%. So 863 people have registered, and 88 people have decided which direction they want to go in terms of having their repair or reimbursement done. And then at the top of the page, you can get a sense of what's happening in the community, how many people are rebuilding their homes versus elevating and versus repairing. You've probably been hearing from Pat this whole presentation a lot, and so I don't necessarily want to go through the whole thing. There are different options for homeowners in terms of the work that we will do, or the work that you can hire another contractor to do to repair your home. And they're predicated on how much damage has happened to your home, and the overall value of your home, and where you are in relation to the flood zone, which obviously we're in Midland Beach. So one of the things that I'm really trying to do with the staff and the people who are working in the centers is, it's been very, very dictated by the percentages, right? So if you've been to the offices, you might have heard you're at 49%, so you will not be elevated, you're just going to be repaired, or your damage was a certain percentage, or your home value is a certain percentage. We really want to make the option that works for you work for you. So there are things that we are held to. You know, if your home was substantially damaged, we have to rebuild it to building code, so we have to elevate it. But we really want to have that be a choice that you're involved in, and that you have, you know, you're making that choice with somebody who you trust from the community, and also somebody who's got knowledge about design. And so you won't be forced to make the decision sitting in a room with somebody who can't really explain what elevation is. So, you know, if you don't understand something and you're talking to someone about your decision about your home, you need to ask to have the right person there, and we're going to make sure that the people are available at the center that can really help you. And if we need to go out to your home and have that conversation because it's only made clear when you're actually at your home, we can do that too. There are city contractors on Staten Island that the city has hired to do rebuilds, which is basically when we completely rebuild your home, and that's the Bluestone organization. Currently, Volmar Construction is focused on the repairs and elevations. One of the things I'd like to do is increase the capacity, specifically on the repairs and elevations, and potentially partner with some of the voluntary organizations that have done work in the city, and also with other contractors that might be available to do work. You also have the option to choose your own contractor, and I think people hear that takes a long time, but we're really working to accelerate that process. So if there's a contractor that you know, maybe you've already had them do some work for you, don't feel like you can't have them that do the work. We will make sure that they're not going to steal money from you, and try to make sure that they're a firm that can do the work that you're asking them to do, but we need to move that process forward more quickly. I'm not going to go through the specifics about the repair program. I think you've probably heard that before, and we can certainly answer your questions if you have some. But basically the options are you can have your home repaired. If your home was substantially damaged and it needs to be elevated, it can be elevated. And if it can't be elevated, or the cost to elevate it is more than the cost to rebuild, or it's been completely destroyed, we will rebuild your home. Reimbursements is something that just started this year, and it is open to, one of the things that we've tried to do is expand. You know, you've heard about the income levels and the priority levels. Rebuilding your home, if your home is completely destroyed and you can't live in it, you will have your home rebuilt regardless of income level. So that was a major announcement that was made on like March 29th. And we've also opened the reimbursement program to anybody regardless of income level. The reimbursement program right now is limited to repairs that you did prior to October 29th. That's a HUD requirement, but we're talking to HUD about trying to extend that date. And it's 60% of the unreimbursed cost of the repairs. But it is a way to get you funds that probably should have had before, but you can get now, and we're able to really starting to get some checks out to people. Acquisition for redevelopment, everybody knows about the buyout areas, specifically on Staten Island. Homeowners that are not in the buyout area have the option for acquisition for redevelopment. This is something that's across the city. It's an option that's given to you if you are a substantially damaged home. So when you get to the end of your choice, you're going to have the opportunity to either rebuild your home, elevate your home, or have your home acquired for redevelopment. At that point in time, we won't know exactly what money you'll get for your home, because there is a process. The state is actually buying the homes, and they require us to go through an appraisal process, and then an appraisal certified. So what would happen is if you got to the point where you were offered rebuild or acquisition, if you thought maybe you were interested in acquisition, the rebuild process will stop at that point, because we're not going to continue that until we know for sure if you're interested in appraisal, in acquisition. And the appraisal process will start, and it's probably about a 4-week process to both get the appraisal and have it certified, and then have an offer made to you. And there's information about the appraisal on our website, and we can provide that information to you. What ends up happening is that the appraisal sets what the pre and the post-storm value of your home is, and you'll receive an offer for the post-storm value, plus a grant basically to get you to what the pre-storm value is. And we can answer questions about that. If you then find out what the value is and have thought about it more and decided you don't want to do it, then you just stop that track and you go back on the rebuild track or whatever the other track is. It doesn't, it's not like you're going to delay that track past the time that you're thinking about the acquisition process. So I already talked a little bit about the changes that have been made. So one is this commitment to 500 homes and 500 reimbursement checks by the end of the summer. The other is eliminating the priority levels for reimbursement and rebuild to really ensure, one, that everyone has one option available to them, because reimbursement is an option available now to everyone, and two, I'm sure a lot of you know that the first step in getting HUD funding is a damage assessment. And so we had been holding off on doing the damage assessments for some of the higher priority people, or lower priority people, I guess is the priorities 2 and 3. We're now moving forward and doing damage assessments for everyone because that's how you get the funding. In addition, we're really working to ensure that there's building inspectors on Staten Island that are focused specifically on Staten Island's very unique and each neighborhood's very unique building issues. And that we're really working across the city. The mayor has made a commitment across all of the agencies to ensure that the work that we need to do to get you into your homes and the work that needs to happen across the agencies is happening. Another big piece of the report was the financial relief piece. So in addition to trying to expand our program within the funding we currently have, people who are not in their homes will get relief from their water bills. People have been paying a minimum charge on their water bill since the storm. If you're not able to be in your home, you'll get a rebate for that moving forward, and I think actually retroactive. In addition, yes?
Does that apply to only people who apply for Build It Back?
If you did not apply for Build It Back and you cannot live in your home, you just need to let us know. We're trying to work with Department of Finance and DEP to identify those people, and so if someone can't be in their home, you don't have to be part of Build It Back to get the relief from the water bill. But we do need to make sure we identify people.
Is there a form that you have to fill out, or just by having paid the bill and the address in Midland Beach, you get it back?
So we're working with DEP and our records to try to identify that population, and we'll let people know when we've identified that, and then we'll also let people know if they haven't been identified that they can reach out to us. It's not a perfect science, unfortunately, but we'll have that opportunity. Also, if people have to leave their home while it's being elevated, we're working with some private funders to try to get rental assistance for that period of time. People who are rebuilding their homes, if they have a transfer amount where they have to pay insurance, they got insurance and they have to give it to us, they can use that for rental assistance during the time that their home is being rebuilt. We are working to have it be a much more neighborhood-focused approach. And so we are appointing borough directors and neighborhood coordinators, and to really work through a lot of the city planning issues, buildings issues, and issues that are unique to every neighborhood, and it's very clear in my time, the last 6 weeks going from neighborhood to neighborhood, that this is, there's issues unique to your neighborhood, and we need to work with your civic association, and we need to have people who know who the people in the community are. We're also focused on trying to get better information out to you. And so if you're part of Build It Back, you should have received an email about a web portal where you can access information about your application online. And if you didn't, you can talk to someone back at the back and they can tell you how to do that. We are also very interested in ensuring, and it's good to hear, what playgrounds you're all concerned about, and really trying to communicate with the other agencies about things that the neighborhoods that have been impacted by Hurricane Sandy care about and want to see move forward on the city side, and the mayor's committed and asked all of the commissioners to focus on these communities and to move forward. It's hard to move forward, a multi-million-dollar project, but certainly some of the smaller efforts to help in these neighborhoods is something that's important and we're working on. And finally, trying to get local residents into jobs, into the construction jobs that are part of the rebuilding is something that we're committed to, and something that I've worked on in my last job in terms of getting women into construction jobs. So I'm opening the floor to questions.